Hey, what's going on guys? Joe Cruz here and I'm finally back after a long break. Now, I haven't uploaded a video for the last 2 months, mainly because I have been busy with work and I was just trying to figure out what I want to do with this channel and how I can continue making these videos without actually breaking the bank. Unlike your big YouTubers, smaller YouTubers like me don't get sponsors and we barely make anything from ads. So I came up with an idea that I can keep making these videos without actually breaking the bank. That being said, this will be my very first video of my series of just pretty much buying parts and selling it as a whole system. Pretty much I will be flipping parts. So join me in my journey of building PCs and making money off of it. Alright you guys, so what we have here is actually a Ryzen 5 1600 on an MSI B350M motherboard. Now this motherboard is not anything special, but it should be good enough for what we need it for. It has all the ports that we need, USB 3s, it has an M.2 slot if we ever need it, and then the PCIe is shielded. So the Ryzen 5 1600 base clock is 3.2, boost clock of 3.6 gigahertz. Now we might be able to push that up to 4, but we'll see, because usually this first generation Ryzen isn't really that much of an overclocker. And then what we have here next is a Gigabyte GTX 1060. This one is the 3 gigabyte version. So this should be good enough for what we need it for. Plus we're not selling the PC so high. Last, as far as the parts that I bought from that guy, is pretty much a Mushkin source, 500 gigabyte of SSD. Not sure about the speed, but this is definitely a lot better than just a regular mechanical hard drive. So I was able to get these parts through OfferUp. Initially, I was just looking to buy a CPU and motherboard. I offered him $100 for both the motherboard and the CPU, and he countered my offer with 125, since somebody had offered him 120. Now for $125, it's already a great deal, but I'm trying to make money here, so I looked to see if he was selling more stuff and found out that he was actually selling his SSD and his GPU. He was selling the SSD for $40 and the GPU for $120. I saw that it has been posted for about a few days, maybe about a week. So I asked him if he would sell me his CPU, GPU, motherboard, SSD for $210. He countered it with $230, and I told him that if he can do $220, then we pretty much have a deal. So he took my offer and I met up with him. Maybe in the future I would record my interaction with the people I buy these parts from, but for now, hopefully my storytelling skills is good enough for you guys. So the first thing we need to do is to test these parts first to see if they're even working. Now, I have tested it prior to me making this video and they're all working. Sorry, no drama here today. Second is to clean the parts, so when I put it for sale, it will look good, close to new, so we can sell it faster, because presentation is everything. For the motherboard, I just used canned air or air duster to take out most of the dust. Majority of the time, it's fairly easy to clean a motherboard. This motherboard wasn't that dirty, so it only took me a bit of time cleaning it. I also used air duster for the GPU fans and heatsink to take out the dust that had built up. Next step is to replace the thermal paste in both our CPU and GPU. The thermal paste that I used is from Corsair. Sometimes I also have to replace the thermal pads. You can get some cheap thermal pads from eBay. Just make sure you match the thickness, because they can vary anywhere from 0.5 millimeter to 2 millimeter. I will link all the things that I use in this video down in the description for anybody that is interested. Now to clean our SSD, we just have to wipe it down and that should be it. Now that our CPU, motherboard, GPU, and SSD have been cleaned and thermal paste have been replaced, all we need for us to complete this build is a power supply, memory, and a case. For the power supply, I will be using an EVGA 500 watt 80 plus white power supply. I got this from their midweek madness for $14.99. Whenever I can, I always stock up on these. You cannot get any other reliable brand power supply cheaper than this. As for the RAM, I will be using an Alloy 16GB DDR4 clocked at 2400 megahertz. I'm hoping that I could still overclock this to around 3000 megahertz. This is the first time I will be using this kind of RAM. I purchased it when Newegg had it on sale for $40.49. And as for the case, I will be using a case that I bought through the Build APC Sales subreddit. It is a DIY Model C RGB. It comes with 3 tempered glass, 3 RGB fans, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. The fronts are 200mm fans and the one in the back is 120. Now, I bought this for $53.98, which is pretty good considering that it's tempered glass and it comes with 2 fans that's 200mm and 1 in the back, and they're all RGB. I like to use new cases because they're more appealing. It will be easier for us to sell this build because of it. Let's take a look what I spent on this build. The CPU, motherboard, SSD, GPU was $220. The power supply was only $14.99. The RAM was $40.49. And the case, which was $53.98. So total that I spent for parts in this build is $329.46. Now let's go ahead and build it. Alright you guys, so here's our completed build. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, I actually have a different memory stick in here. Still 16 gigabytes, still same 2400 megahertz. But for some reason, the alloy memory does not want to work with this motherboard. I tried troubleshooting it, tried it on a different motherboard, it actually worked. I updated the BIOS of this motherboard just to see if it was just a BIOS. Still didn't work. Tried a different stick on this motherboard, it actually worked. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I tried the alloy memory stick on multiple motherboards just to make sure that it's not the memory stick, and it wasn't it. So I ended up just swapping the one that I have already that I'm supposed to use on my next build. So I just swapped it, so it should not affect our pricing here. I think it's just a compatibility issue with MSI motherboards. The ones that I tried was actually a different motherboard, I mean a different brand, but it worked perfectly. So I'm not sure if it's just with MSI, but I tried it on an Asus and I tried it on Gigabyte. Anyway, how much do you guys think I could sell this? I'm probably gonna put it for $500 just because a lot of people in the marketplace actually lowball, so I'm gonna overprice it a little bit. I'm trying to get maybe about 450, at least 400, but I'm going for 450. Hopefully I can get that. But before I sell it, I'm gonna show you guys some benchmarks so you guys can see how this thing performs. I know a lot of you guys actually want to see benchmarks, so Here you go. Alright, so what do you guys thought about those benchmarks? It's actually pretty good, right? Considering that we're only trying to get at least $450 for this, I'm pretty sure somebody will actually buy it right away. Okay, so let's go ahead and post it on OfferUp. We just want to make sure that we're taking the best photos of this rig so we can sell it really fast. I wonder how long it'll take for me to be able to sell this. Let's take a look. Alright, so I'm actually driving towards the buyer now. I posted it on Facebook and OfferUp, and it only took me about a day before I found some offers. But I ended up actually selling the PC to one of my friend's friend. So my friend saw my post and he asked me how low can it go. I told him 450 since he was my friend, and he said that it was actually for his friend that was looking for a PC, and they were also looking for a monitor, and the only monitor that I have is actually an Acer 22-inch that I had purchased from OfferUp a long time ago, and I think I bought it for $20, and I told him he can have it for $30. I've had a couple offers from OfferUp, and there was this one guy that was asking if it was still available, and he'd like to buy it for $450. Alright, so I'm actually here now, and I'm about to meet up with him. He's waiting for me. Gotcha. So I actually packed it on the original box it came in, and then I'm gonna get the monitor over there. Okay. Alright, so I sold the PC for $450, and I spent about $329 to build it, meaning I made about $120, which is not bad considering that all it took was for me to keep checking the marketplace for parts, and it only took me about a day to find a buyer. I'm actually glad that I sold the PC to my friend's friend, because he told me that he used to go to this computer cafe and was spending about $40 a day between food, drinks, and renting their gaming PC, and this should save him a lot of money. It's pretty much a win for both of us. And that will be it for this video, guys. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up, please get subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.